hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Sherry Schreiner. A couple things I want to talk about today. You know, a lot of things going on. Today I'm just going to comment on news going on around the world and in America in particular. Current events, my thoughts on current event news. I spent a lot of time on Twitter the past couple of days, and I usually don't twit all that much. And I'm being told all the new fad is Instagram, and you know it's taken me this long to get on Twitter. I am not doing Instagram in a million years, and that seems to be something more for the selfie crowd, people who like to snap pictures of themselves and post it all over the place. And no, I'm not a picture person. I'm definitely not a me thing, so definitely will not be doing Instagram anytime soon. But what I have been paying attention to, it's been getting under my skin, is this whole thing with the NFL. And so I want to talk about that today because it's one of these things where if you see what's going on, you pull back the curtain, you can see why it's all being played out the way it is. Now, George Soros has pumped tens of millions of dollars into our country to divide it, to uproot it, to tear it apart. One of the biggest things on their script for destroying America was to ignite a racial war. And you know what? I don't have one black friend that's bought into that garbage. I don't know any blacks that have bought into that garbage other than the celebrities and the NFL players themselves. And they seem to be the loudmouths because they're getting the attention. The media decides who gets to be heard and who doesn't. Hello, I've been on the blacklist since 2005. And they put me on the blacklist because they realized I was legit. And so they try to shut me up. And they stand up people that are theirs, people that they can control, people that are part of the duality world where they have the outright Satanists and the wolves in sheep's clothing, and they all serve the same master, but they can be and they all can be controlled, which is why they're allowed in. They're allowed to be heard. They're allowed to be put on mainstream television because secretly they serve Satan. And so that's why the minority, which is only about 10% of this country, and speaking about the liberal left, that has nothing to do with color. It's ideologies. The liberal left gets all the press because the press is liberal. It's always been liberal. When I was in newsrooms, I was the only conservative in them. I was the only one. But today's conservatives or today's liberals are not the same liberals amongst us in the 80s. In the 80s, we actually had a Democrat Party. We actually had a Republican Party. And then all that switched. The conservatives no longer had a Republican Party because all the Republicans were Satanist wolves and wearing Republican clothes, became rhinos, Republicans in name only, and the Democrats became outright communists, socialist communists, hiding under the Democrat banner. And so real Democrats don't have a party either. Real Republicans don't have a party. Nobody has a true party. It's the Satanists who run everything. And if you look at the people who are being stood up to divide America on racial issues, it's the Satanists of whatever party. They could be black or white. It's the Satanists doing all the screaming because they want to toe the agenda line of destroying the fabric of America. Now, the whole thing about protests in South Carolina, so it's tearing down the statues, that's a Civil War ploy, and it's a tactic used in every country that the CIA infiltrates and sets up revolution. The first thing they do is tear down statues. It's the first thing they attack, and they attack the flag. And so that's what they want to do in America. They want to attack the flag, which stands for liberty, justice, and one nation under God. They want to attack the fabric of America. And so that's what this whole NFL thing and why they're all falling in line with it, because they're in agreement with destroying the fabric of America. Now, some of them, okay, I think I'm back in now. For some reason, I was cut off the air. Must be making somebody mad, huh? I don't even know what y'all heard, where I left off. Can you hear me now? Let me ask the chat room. This is crazy. All right, it's back. I don't know what y'all heard and what you didn't. I'll just back up a little bit. But what I'm talking about is their whole agenda to cut the fabric of America, to attack the flag, and they're using 10% of the satanic, demonic Illuminati crowd to do it. And that's what's going on with the NFL. They're following the Illuminati agenda to cause division. And you know what? They don't want you to believe the polls that 60%, probably much higher, probably about 80%, are fed up with the disrespect towards the America's flag. Because if you want to kneel, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys sent a message on Monday night. They knelt in unity before the national anthem singing started, and then when it started, they stood up and they stood for the flag. Football is not a platform for politics, folks. It's not the platform. You know, I never liked it, and you can throw whatever at me. I never liked it when they had Breast Awareness Month every October, making the guys wear pink. I thought it was ridiculous. We all know what breast awareness is. What are we going to have, a testicle month in December? Not saying we're not to be sympathetic. It's not the platform. People want their entertainment to relax, to chill. And when you start allowing causes to get involved, then you're becoming, which cause is more important? Which cause gets attention and which cause doesn't? You see what I'm saying? It's not the cause itself. We have a million good causes, but we also have platforms for different things, and sports should be just sports. And so 80% of the Americans, because I don't care what the little poll says, 60%, 80% of Americans agree with Trump. It's his comments. But you won't hear that from the Satanists who dominate the media. They pound it on television with the liberal media, what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that Trump, people are angry at Trump, and that most of America is divided against Trump. That's not true. Turn the TVs off. They were telling you Hillary Clinton was going to win. You should have learned back then. 80% of America does not fall for the Illuminati BS. They are in line with Donald Trump's views, and he knows it. And he knows not to listen to the garbage on TV, but he reacts to it. So it's interesting that they're trying to destroy the flag and the national anthem using social justice as the battle cause, because they can always round up the Al Sharptons. They can always round up their little puppets to rile up the gullible. And I say gullible loosely because there seems to be a fine line between ideologies. And like I said, it has nothing to do with color. It's ideologies. It's the Democrats and the Republicans. Do you see the conservative black crowd going along with any of this garbage? No, they know it's garbage. They're not falling for it. They're not falling for the bait. They see it for what it is, that it's bait. Bait for hate. Stay away from the bait for hate. That's all it is. But they're going along with it. You know what? Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is a grand example, they refused to leave the locker room simply because they didn't want involved with the mess. That was their whole thing. Their whole thing was, look, you know, we're not going to go out there and half the team stand and half the team kneel. We're just going to avoid the whole mess. We're not even going to come out of the locker room. And the one player, Villanueva, however you spell his name, Army veteran, served several tours in Afghanistan, left the locker room and stood at the foot of the dugout with his hand over his heart and honored the flag and the anthem. And the next day, his T-shirt sales soared to the top 3 sold. And then what did he do later that day after the coach pummeled him for doing that? He retracted what he did. He apologized and said he should have never have left the locker room. Where was his free speech? If all this is about free speech, where was his free speech? Why did the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers pound and berate him for leaving the locker room? Where was his free speech? See, it goes both ways, but y'all don't like it both ways. The liberals always want it their way and only one way. They want everybody to be tolerant, but they're intolerant of you if you're not towing their agenda line, their party line, their hate bait. And that's all it is. And half those, I posted something earlier about all the players arrested in the off season. Social injustice. Don't break the law. Don't break the law. Anyway, so it's an entire ploy by George Soros and the communists to go after the American flag, the fabric of this country, which is patriotism. You go after the statues, you go after the flags, then you go. They've already shredded the Constitution, so don't play the games, folks. Another thing is the big lies about the charities. Do not fund charities. The American Red Cross, J.J. Watt, all these facades standing up saying they're going to help the people of Houston, and then you hear from Houston and these people in shelters whose homes have been destroyed are told they don't even qualify for $400. Their homes are destroyed. They go back to their homes, are destroyed. They have nowhere to go. They go back to the shelter, apply for help, and the Red Cross tells them they don't qualify for $400. After they had the whole celebrity shebang last week, raising millions for the Red Cross, and none of these people in Houston are getting a dime. Red Cross is a scam. I've told you it's all a scam. It's all a 10% scam, the 10% rule. I'm going to get to that in a minute. And this whole J.J. Watt thing, give me a break. They would not be promoting him if he wasn't one of theirs. Unless you sign the dotted line and sell your soul to the devil, you can't even get on TV. You can't get promoted. So you think of that when you see these NFL players getting promotion, getting airtime. So any one of them that's getting airtime has sold out. J.J. Watt has sold out. Now let's get to the 10% rule, because this is how charities run. Because I know people always blast me for my last name, Shriner, which is really stupid because that's my married name. I married a man with the last name Shriner. So everybody thinks I'm part of a secret society. First of all, the Shriner organization is Muslim. It's a Muslim organization. They worship Allah. And they're down in Florida. And they have all those Shriner hospitals. That has nothing to do with the rest of the 10,000 Shriners throughout America. And I'm not the only Sherry Shriner. There's 4 others in America. There's probably more. The people grab for anything. They'll stretch for anything. Haters want to hate. They just want something. They want something. They look for anything. The way charities run is that 10% of the money donated to a charity has to go to the charity. The other 90% can go to salaries and whatever. Whatever. That big whatever word. It goes in their back pockets. So that's why everybody wants to run. You'll see these celebrities who are going broke, or they're on a huge money grab. They'll want to start up a charity or a foundation or something because they only have to actually use 10% of the money they raise for the cause itself. And so none of that money ever gets. Don't you remember 9/11 when all those people had to sue the Red Cross because all the millions of dollars that were poured in for the families of the people that were killed in the trade center buildings, trade tower buildings? They got $30,000 apiece, a family. Seriously? They raised tens and tens of millions. And they had to sign $30,000 in a waiver form that they wouldn't come after them for any more money than that. Seriously? So it's all a scam, folks. Charities are a scam. If you want to help the people, find churches that are involved and donate to the churches so they can get the help to the people. Donate to the churches that are doing something. Also, the same 10% rule reigns in everything. If you look at Vegas, how Vegas operates, and I've only, I'm not a big Vegas person or anything. I don't even know how to play poker. But if you look at the bylaws of Vegas, you can pretty much learn the bylaws on how Wall Street is run, because it's the same way charities are run, 10%. 10%. So about 10% of all the millions casinos make They make millions in a day. They give 10% your random people allowed to win money on the machines because everything's rigged. Why do you think they all freak out if you're playing blackjack or something and you start winning? And they call in the pit bosses, call in the big hogs because they figure cheating's going on because it's rigged. There's no way you can be winning. They figure you have to be doing something to be winning because it's rigged. The same way with Wall Street. Wall Street was designed to soak the money out of the little people. Little people think, oh, I can get in, I can make some money, put it away for retirement, and they're just bottom feeders for all the people at the top who get rich, which are Cain's kids, the Satanists. Wall Street operates pretty much the same way. They'll give back to the little people about 10%. 10%. It's the 10% rule, folks. And then they keep the 90% for the fat cats. Now what happens if you're part of the little people crowd, which is 90% of us, is this. If you happen to stumble on money, you actually invent something, you get rid. They don't steal your patent and kill you. You actually sell it. You actually get to make money off of it. You actually get to become successful. Or let's just say you're really intelligent and you figure out the games and the rigging of Wall Street and you make some good money. They will get it from you. And what they do is they set up these financial clubs. And you know, it's how to hide your money, how to invest, what to do with your money. You go and you meet other rich people, successful people. They have all these different services set up for rich people. These clubs, these groups, these organizations, financial services. You think you're in the big leagues now because you've been successful and you actually qualify to be in the millionaires clubs and all these different things. And you know what? They just use those as bait to lure you in, and then they target you. They target you, become a target. They know who has money, and they will target you to join the secret societies, Freemasonry. That's usually the bread and butter start of all of them, Freemasonry. And if you refuse, then they'll just find target ways to kill you and take your money. That's what they do. And then when you join a secret society, they eventually just soul scalp you and take your money. It's all about taking your money. It's not about helping you manage your money, invest your money. The bottom line is they want to take your money. And so that's what they lure you in with their clubs and organizations. I mean, there's a whole system at the top. The world, the reality, the society of the top 1%, and how things operate and how they live. I mean, if you look at Donald Trump was a luxury man. He was what you call a luxury man. He would build luxury hotels, luxury apartments, and he didn't build just apartments. He was building $40 million penthouses. He's a luxury builder, provides luxury for the elite. That's what he did. That's what he does. His kids still do it. But they provide luxuries for the elite. It's not for you. It's not for you. He doesn't build luxury hotels for you to go sit your butt in. He builds luxury hotels for the Satanists, the top 1%. If you want to know where all the 1% meet to do all their rituals and everything, where they hang out, one of the biggest things is look for where the Hilton hotels are, because he's another one. And the Hilton hotels, you all know Paris Hilton. She's a heiress, all that. Hilton hotels, if you run into a place and there's a Hilton hotel, you can be pretty sure that that's a pretty significant area for the Satanists. Because they don't just put these hotels on there. And that's how Trump is. You know, he caters to the top, the elite, the Satanists. He doesn't necessarily cater to the Satanists, but he caters to the elite who all happen to be Satanists. Put it that way. Because there's different factions of Satanists. You can't throw them all in one group. Why not? Because they're all serve Lucifer. Yeah, but they're all egocentric driven. There's different groups, different factions. Satan has the same build-up. He has a tree with the different branches. He mimics the Father. And remember, the deceiver and mimicker, he duplicates everything he can about Father, everything he can, he could duplicate about heaven, he brought down to earth to duplicate societies, civilizations here on earth. Nothing happens just out of its own. It's all a duplication of something else, a mimicry. Anyway, time is up. Time went fast. I will be back on Friday with probably more just state of the news, where we're at with things. Until Friday, everybody, God bless.